every time I have this trigger, I'll start cutting myself. Yes, I think it got too much and she sent me to a girls' home.
So you lagi angry lah?
Confirm lah, I produce result but you still want to send me to girls' home.
Who are you? You're not my mother. How can we have more protection officers to protect us more?
So this is a very timely question.
Because you are the person to ask, ma. I cannot do anything. Hi everyone and welcome back to the Irene Ang Show in this very special edition called Let's Break the Silence Together! That's right, as with last week, we have three very special people who are part of this ecosystem, so important. I've learned so much, but today we're going to dive deeper in, okay, and we're hearing directly from survivor, Danyya. We'll hear from her very soon. We also have with us Minister of State for Social and Family Development, Mr. Ming. And welcome back again from PSV, Ronak. Alright, today we're not just going to talk about the system. I want to talk about real people, like the real things that you guys do. I mean, for you and for Moss. I call you Moss because your title very long, you know. You can also stop. So can I call you Moss?
And you can call me by name too.
Wow. We want to know more about what you do, impact and help victims or survivors of domestic violence. Could you share with us one fun fact about yourself first? So before we go into the deep end of the scene.
So for myself, I'm a mother of two and I'm really still learning to be one.
So that's fun lah? No, so is the mother part or learning part fun?
It's the mother part actually. Yeah, it teaches you a lot of things, patience. Yes.
I'm very sure because right here at Fly, I have many children also. Yeah. Right? Okay, how about Moss?
In my previous life, I was protecting a country, right? In the army. So I guess now in social family development, I am too staying in the protection line, accept protection services for families, for victims.
And then over to you, Ronak.
I think maybe on the theme of learning as well. Every year I try to pick up a new skill or hobby. Yeah, so this year I'm trying to learn how to do watercolor painting, but I'm not doing very well. Yeah, so still learning.
Watercolor painting.
Yes. Yeah, I mean necessary for the job.
Oh, so maybe we start with Danyya first, okay? And Danyya, I know it's not easy, but thank you so much in advance for coming out. You know, you're so courageous. Maybe you can share with me how experience or journey started and when did you realize, you know, that this is wrong?
Yeah, so I was 9 years old when I was first sexually abused by my stepdad, and at that time I feel that I did not know who to talk to because 9 years old lah, you know. Then you know, I just go to school normally and things like that lah. So I feel that the closest person was probably my mom.
Obviously.
Yeah, and I did share with her that, you know, he asked me to do certain things lah. And I remember that my mom was asking me, you know, she kind of doubted my response. From then on I realized that, okay, maybe I shouldn't share with anyone lah. So I just continued to kind of find a kind of normal thing in my life lah, and just go through it I think for many years. You know, this kind of thing is not something that you know how to talk about. And when
so you didn't tell anyone after you told your mom?
I didn't tell anyone.
Wow.
Because I feel like if this is a normal thing to talk about, then I should be able to get out of it. But I feel so.
Were you frightened?
Yeah, I do feel afraid. I don't know what are the resources out there. You know, at that time, 9 years old, you just want to go to school, survive.
But do you have a best friend in school or like a teacher that you feel like you maybe you wanted to but you don't know whether you should?
Yeah, I mean I do have friends and teachers, but I feel that what I went through isn't something normal. And I was afraid that I didn't know how to broach the subject.
Actually, deep inside you, you know that, oh, this is wrong. But what am I to do? You don't know what to do.
True, I don't really know how to seek help for it lah. Because actually, I mean, to be honest lah, I actually thought that probably when people misbehave, this is how they are being
Punished. So you thought you were like naughty, then say you're being punished.
And I went on with this thinking for quite a number of years actually, until I was about 14 years old. When I went through a sexuality education class, and then there were some things that the teacher shared that, there are some places where people shouldn't touch you and stuff. And then I realized that, hey, why does this sound familiar? And it slowly dawned to me that I was actually being groomed. And I tried to, I shared with my best friend about it. And I asked her, it's like, when you misbehave, how do your parents like punish you? So when I shared with her what I was going through, she told me that she think that I should try to tell my mom. Yeah. So I think that was how slowly, I kind of got out of it.
But you told your mom when you're younger, right? And then so you tell her again.
Yeah, I tried to tell her this time. I guess because at that time, right, I was a teenager, and every teenager like goes through puberty. And I started to be very wary about my body. I felt something was wrong with me. So that's when I tried to tell my mom again, because I feel that so many things have happened since then, and I just want to, see what was her response. But I think my mom, at that day actually, I remember when I want to try to break the news to my mom, I just couldn't, because I know that how important my stepdad was to my mom.
Was it because he's the provider of the family? Financially, or your mom just loved him very much?
Yeah, my mom sees it as he's like the emotional support for her. Yeah.
But does he treat your mom well?
Not really. They have into like heated arguments and stuff, right? So I feel that he was kind of like a emotional supporter for my mom lah. So I feel that this is my mom's second marriage. I shouldn't ruin it, So I just tried. I did not tell her. I couldn't tell her that night. I didn't know how to do it. So the next day, I told my friend, I couldn't tell my mom, and she told me, why not you speak to a teacher about it?
And so you did lah?
Yeah, I told my teacher about it, and that's how I think this whole report started, because it went into the principal and it went to the police. I remember when my mom got to know that I made the report,
she was angry with you.
She was very angry with me. I didn't know what was to come when I made the report actually. No one was going to prepare me about what's to come.
You don't know, you're only 14 years old, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So police, teacher went to principal went to police, and then he got caught, obviously.
No, they didn't really like. Okay, I mean, we were called in for investigations, right? It's very normal.
Yeah. At least got police lah.
Yeah, I got police lah. Yeah.
Then after that?
Yeah, then after that, I think I was removed away from my family, because they have to do the investigations, and my aunt actually took care of me. So during that time, she took care of everything of my needs, so that I could still go to school and all. Yeah, and that's how I go into the child protection service. I had a child protection officer handling my case.
Wow, thank you so much for your courage to share, and really today is all about breaking silence for people, other survivors like yourself, maybe, or even victims that's watching this, right? Maybe I want to check with Moss and Ronak. Is this very common where people suffer in silence for years before they want to bring up? Is this common in your cases?
Yeah, so I think for a lot of cases, it's very hard to understand and identify abuse at the early stage. I think, like Danyya mentioned, there's a lot of feelings of confusion. You're not sure what exactly is happening. So for some cases, it's very common that the report happens many months or years after the incident of abuse as well.
Yeah. Is there any other way now that's different? Because probably this happened to you more than 10 years ago, right? But now I think, is there does the school teach their kids that they can go to somebody? Is there this kind of program?
Yeah, so I think there's different types of support that we try to bring in now. One thing that we try to teach schools and other important touch points are, how do you identify signs of abuse? So they have certain kind of guidelines that they look at to see whether the child is exhibiting certain signs. But I think another thing that has been quite significant in recent years is a lot of upstream early intervention that we're trying to see as well. Because often the first source of report comes from the child themselves, right? And it's very powerful when they come forward to share. So one thing that we've been bringing in a bit more is this program called Protective Behavior. So it teaches kids how do you identify when something.
Also, you teach the teachers how to identify.
Yeah, and also for the kids themselves.
I think the first thing that we recognize is that families are the basic unit of what makes up our society, and we want our families to be strong and stable. Families are strong and stable, society will be strong and stable. And then whenever we hear stories like that, it's very heart-wrenching. So one case is one too many. We don't want that to happen to our victim survivors. It's not just to the individual, but it breaks up a family, it breaks up a community. And in fact, society also feels angry sometimes when you hear things like that, and we think, how can something like that happen in Singapore?
Yeah, because like for me, my observation is when something like this happens and it's out in the news, everybody will jump in and make a comment and all this. But what I was thinking is like, do we think as a society we could have done better? You know, instead of saying whose fault is it now and what policy. The other thing is, let's say if now her case is now happening now, what are the things that is already in place now that helped her?
Let's say we get a case that comes in and we get reports of sexual abuse. I think immediately on the spot, an officer will go down to investigate further. So someone will come and speak to the child to find out about what happened, take their accounts in, and we'll file a police report as well. Then we work very closely with the police to try to work out what's the plan for the family. So police have their own investigation that they need to conduct, right? Because they need to gather evidence, see whether there's any criminal case that they can bring forward. So in a sense, we work hand in hand. The police focus on the criminal investigation, while protective service, we focus on social investigation. But really the important thing is making sure that the child can be safe. Familiarity and structure is going to be very critical for a child, right? So I think we can recognize these two principles, right? Then we have to try and see, okay, yes, the child might need to go somewhere else, right? But can we keep this going, right? Can we keep them having some certain routines, right? Do they have things they like to do, like going to school, having certain hobbies? Can we preserve that?
I think the team that Ronak was talking about is a 24-hour, we actually have a 24-hour response team called the DVERT, Domestic Violence Emergency Response Teams. They work together with the police. So if we
Who are they?
at risk, they're actually PSV officers. But they are working together with the police. So if, for example, there's a high-risk situation, got immediate safety risk, these teams will be dispatched 24 hours and then they'll look in the situation. So the police will settle the immediate child protection.
But they got power to intervene.
These officers actually have emergency orders. They will immediately apply the protection. It's a temporary safeguard to restrain the perpetrator from further violence, while they go and apply for a personal protection order, which is the longer term one at the court. So straight away the protection comes in.
Otherwise, very dangerous, right? If the court come back 1 month later, then
Too late already lah.
yeah. But
Actually, talking about this, because you know, if I'm not wrong, they also call it expedited orders. So I remember even when after I was 16 years old and things were stable and I was staying on my own and I still have some harassments from my abusers. So what I did was actually to go to court, and within 24 hours the EO was up, expedited order was up, and I think with that he didn't come near me. You know, it's like it's really like something that I will say, if you dare to come near me, then I can just call the police and the police is aware and he will just be taken.
So, but who taught you how to do this?
As years goes by and they build on my resilience, and I start to be aware of what resources I have lah. You know, I always seek advice from my psychologists and officers. So they always told me, you know, if one day it gets to this, these are the things that you can do. So of course, as I grow older, then I'm more informed. And that's when I start to take my own actions. I don't need the external intervention. Go up already, brave ma, got wings already.
Got wings and know the system. But I'm also curious that when it first happened, and when you were removed from your house and then you were introduced to the social worker, how do you feel about having a stranger coming to tell you what to do with your life? Yeah,
I mean, we are still in touch now. I always am in touch with people who have journeyed with me because, you know, they have always been with me through all the milestones. Of course, at that time, I didn't agree with what they do, you know, because you remove me away from my family.
You don't understand, right, as a child, right? Did you hate her? Did you hate her then, or him?
Definitely.
Is it?
I'm like,
like, who are you? Is it?
Yeah, I do drive up, drive her up the wall many times, and sometimes I think I will break the rules that she has set for me. Because of course I couldn't understand why you would want to break up the relationship I have with my mother, especially with my mother. I was very close with my mother. But of course she needs to do what was best for me and that's why I needed her to make the calling for me, you know, because you couldn't really protect yourself, you couldn't say no, you don't have the assertiveness to do that. Yeah, that's why it comes with age.
I'll say that this is also something that potentially prevents many victims from coming forward, or even family members from coming forward, because they're worried about breaking up the family or what the entire family will suffer through going forward. But perhaps another way to see it is that if you don't break this cycle, this will just continue to go on and on, or even get worse. And perhaps sometimes reporting and seeking professional help, counselling to come in, that starts the process of healing. Perhaps you'll get a little bit worse before it gets better, but that's the only way to break the cycle.
So you break the silence, then you break the cycle.
And then there's a chance they will get better, and actually there's a chance the family can get back to normalcy again.
When your case was brought to light, right, you would probably have a protection officer to help you, right? Did you have a good relationship as a child? Were you angry with her?
Yes, honestly, you know, having someone who is outside of the family coming into your family to tell you that you cannot see your mom, I actually don't understand like her purpose.
But did you feel like I would rather be staying with my mom and letting her scold me and be angry with me than for you to take me away from home?
Yeah, I do think that she like, you know, Fei Yan was there to kind of break up the family.
Oh, you thought she's the bad guy?
Yeah, because you know, I just felt that I still want to be in that family. I just need the bad person to get away.
What else did she do that made you feel like she's a bad person?
You know, when she removed me from my family, and then I was actually not allowed to see my mom during the investigation process, that to me was very tough. Which is, you know, I kind of break that rule many times.
Or run home, is it?
Yeah, I don't really run home. I'm quite a good girl actually. You know, I just will probably like not tell her that I meet my mom. But then after that, after I meet my mom, I will come back with this
so much trauma and pain,
like
hurt, right?
Emotions. Yes, yes. And that was the whole purpose why in the first place she did not allow me to meet my parents.
She knows lah. So when was the turning point that you realised actually she's a good person?
You know, I was in my teenage years. I was still, you know, a part of me, I feel like I led like two lives lah. Part of me, I was doing well in school. I started to get the support that I need, but another part of me is every time I have this trigger that I can't be with my mom, I'll start cutting myself.
Oh.
Yes, so I will do a lot like, you know, I will self-harm myself lah. And it came to a point that I really couldn't control it.
So you don't know where to let go the hurt, so you just started like cutting yourself or punching the wall or whatever?
I started cutting myself until it came to a point that all I ever cared about was how to hide my scars and things like that. And I think it got too much that that's when, you know, Fei Yan stepped in and she sent me to a girl's home.
So you're even more angry, lagi angry lah.
Confirm I good girl I good girl in school lah.
Yeah.
That's why I couldn't really
understand.
How come, you know, I do well in school already, produce result, but you still want to send me to girl's home?
Who are you? You're not my mother, you know. Right?
Yeah, I did felt that way. Yeah. So I always like kind of misunderstood her intentions. But then, you know, when I was in the girls' home, I start to realise that I cannot be selfish lah. I think I also remember that when she visited me in the hospital.
Why were you in the hospital?
Because I cut myself, right? So I needed stitches. It came to that point now. It was quite.
Cut until no place already, so got stitches, right?
Jialat one.
So when you were in hospital, she came to visit you?
Yeah, she came to visit. Of course, the first thing she will ask me, why did you go and cut yourself? Then I'm like, I think I came to a breaking point. I was telling her, like, yeah lah, you all scold me, all you guys ever do, like, ever scold me. And then I think I kind of break down. She was just like, she just put like her hand on my head and she told me, I'm going to see you when you get better. That was the first time that I feel like she understood, and no, she understood like I was really like trying my best to like cope, but I just didn't know how to.
And her words is short.
It struck deep.
It struck deep, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's her telling you she has confidence that you will definitely be better.
I think it remained in my head for a very long time, and when I was in the girls' home for quite a while, it was a reflection point for me. Because I asked myself, you know, you want to be out of the abuse, now you are out of the abuse, but then
get into something else.
Yeah, I mean now the support that you need is here. So why are you like pushing people away? So it was kind of really a self-reflection journey for me.
So then, from then on, you started having a better relationship with her.
From then on, I started to appreciate not a better relationship. I would still be angry at her for doing things, but I think I started to appreciate her actions, although harsh, was necessary. So I started to accept that, and that's how I think my life got a bit more stable, a bit more better.
We've heard how the members of the public, just now you say, we all form the ecosystem, not just those in policy, those in government, those in MSF or what. You see, this kind of matter, right, is domestic, right? Okay. Then how should the public be involved in the domestic?
So, indeed,
so we all cannot tap, right?
We say it's domestic violence, but actually we do want the whole community to play a part, and we also want potential perpetrators to know that actually many members of public, anyone can also report cases like that. And we do want cases to be picked up as early as possible so that the amount of violence and the duration of violence is kept to a minimal. So the earlier things get reported, the earlier members of public are able to help intervene and report, all the better.
On the bigger government policy point, right, is there any changes from her time till now on like women's charter or any policy or law?
Over the years, the government has put in place quite a bit of changes to continue to improve the overall policy. So the policy has evolved, the system, the processes, the practices on the ground have continuously changed. In fact, we formed the task force on family violence.
There's a task force for this now? Wow.
So they looked into it and they provided various recommendations which the government has adopted. One of them indeed is on the Women's Charter. So I think there are some changes to the Charter in 2023.
So Moss, how can we have more protection officers to help to protect us more?
So this is a very timely question because I think...
Because you are the person to ask, man. I cannot do anything.
So recently, the Ministry of Social Family Development, we just worked with the SUSS. We have been working out various curriculum. In fact, we rolled out a new school focusing on social workers, training social workers.
You mean there's a school for social workers? I think in NUS last time they have one similar, something like that.
Social work department.
Social work department. But this one is a school.
So within SUSS, there's a school now that trains our social workers and they have different concentrations, different specializations. One of it is in protection. So anyone keen after watching and hearing a story wants to sign up, please go for the course.
Have you ever thought of being one?
One of the ambition was to be a child protection officer.
Yeah. I think you will make an excellent one, no?
But I mean, currently what I do now, I am protecting people, but I'm protecting more like migrant workers, you know. I mean, I'm a safety officer by training. So I look into workplace health safety matters.
Wow. See, Fayen, you must be so proud. I feel the proudness for you. So if you were to share or advise people going through or have just survived any kind of abuse, would you say that going for therapy and psychological help is important?
There's this one quote that I've actually came across once, and I really believe in that quote. It says something about it's easier to build resilient children than to repair broken adults. And I feel that is so important, and it's such a small but strong message, because a lot of times when these people become abusers or victims, right, a lot of times, like as a child themselves, these abusers, they weren't picked up when they were a child. So they go through a lot of the bad things and thinking that this is the way the life have to go, and then they become abusers themselves when they grow up. And I think we need to stop this intergenerational trauma. We need to be the generation to stop that this is not how life is supposed to go. This is not how a family institution is supposed to be like. So I do believe very much that therapy is very important, because it's not a journey that you can journey alone. People will walk with you through it if you let them help you, and it's okay to seek help. It's not a sign of weakness. At least you are doing something better for yourself. to live and outgrow that painful past and be a stronger person.
For Ronak and Moss, hearing Danyya talk about therapy, right, and building a safe circle, how does this reflect the changes and support structures that exist today for survivors?
Like what Danyya is saying, victim advocacy is actually critical, right? We need people who have gone through the experiences to come out and share their journey, right? I think the support of someone who understands your situation intimately, that's very different. We've also tried to do more interventions to build up upstream or earlier intervention. So one program that we talk about now is protective behaviors, right? So these are ways for children to identify who can be their safety network. Right? We teach them a very simple tool. Like for example, we have 5 fingers.
Okay.
Can you name one person for each finger? These are people that you can go and approach, right? That can seek you for, that you can look for help. Right? So these are adults who believes you, listens to you, takes actions.
So 5 people lah.
Yeah, 5 people, right? And we encourage 5 people because it's better to have more people. Like resilience, if you go to one person and they don't take action, going to someone else, right? Being able to tell. But I think really the support system that you get from your own family, from your own network, that's really critical for change.
On a separate note, I would like to thank Miss Vivian and Miss Fayen Tan for journeying through that ups and downs process with me.
So for Moss, any final thoughts?
So you've heard very touching accounts, personal experiences. I think we're also very seized by the important work that our social service professionals do, like our protection officers. So in fact, this year, 2025, we've actually designated as the year of celebrating the good work of all our social service professionals. So perhaps on this show, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank all our social service professionals. Thank you for the important work that you do, because you uplift society, you make sure that society is well taken care of and no one is left on their own. They never walk alone in this journey, and it's not easy work, but you keep at it and make sure they will continue to do good for our people. And also want to take the opportunity to thank their family members, because it's not just one person, but the entire support structure for all our social service professionals.
In social service, it shouldn't be only this year, okay? It should be every year we should celebrate social service professionals. Every story we've heard today, from Danyya's courage to the dedication of protection officers to policy that supports them, reminds us that domestic violence isn't just a statistic. Isn't just a number, isn't just a headline, okay? It's real, it leaves scars, and it demands our attention as a society, as a country, as a community, right? So if you or someone you know is going through abuse, or you suspect that is help, definitely, right? You have learned, and you don't have to navigate it alone. Reach out to NAVH and share the number. And the number is
1-800-777-0000.
1877770000.
ஒன்று 00 777 0000.
1800-777-0000. This is an important number to save now, or you can scan the QR code displayed on screen now. The helpline is 1-800-777-0000 again. To conclude, every one of us can play a part. You can share your stories, seek counselling, simply listening, be a friend, because all of us together we can break the silence. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, and please remember to like, subscribe and share today's video, because it's so important. And please remember to take down the number. I don't want to say any more already, okay? Bye-bye. See you next time. Yay!